getting ready to dial in Miss Valeisha. Like I said, I've been following Valeisha forever, probably since Ween. So I'm super excited to have her on the call. And no further ado, let's bring her on. Let me unmute you. There we go. You're unmuted. Cool. Valeisha.
Hi.
First of all, I don't even know how you on this call because, girl, let me tell you something about this woman. She's doing calls like every Friday. Like, look, it exhausted me trying to put this one little panel together for 2 days. I don't know how you're doing like Zooms every week. You got a basketball player husband. You got these beautiful kids. You got your dad. I mean, I don't know how you do it. So your call may go a little longer. You don't have to dig into how you do everything that you do. But I did want to jump in right with some of the questions that were submitted. So let's see. Hold on. Something's popping up on my computer. Ignore that. Okay. So the first question is so for those of you who know, Valeisha's obviously speaking in her personal capacity, but she's worked for major companies like Google. She's at the Recording Academy. I mean, she's worked with the Obamas. So she's really speaking today from the perspective of being a woman executive leader, especially a minority women executive leader. So with that being said, the first question was, how do you best handle being a double minority, a woman and a person of color, in a top executive position when you are usually the only one at the table?
You know, it's crazy because I always saw being a Black woman in an executive role as a superpower, right? Like I never saw it as a deficit or, you know, a negative thing at all, or a hardship or a barrier, but instead I really saw it as a superpower because I feel like when we walk into those rooms, we just bring style, we bring experience, we bring confidence, we bring all the things. And so for me, I really see it as an asset, but I also see it as a responsibility, right? Like I think once I'm in the room, you know, I have to make sure that I'm not the last person in the room that looks like me. And so, yeah, I always saw it as a superpower. Now I think it's just dope and an honor when I am able to have a seat at the table, but I really see it as being like, now it's a double job, right? The double job is I have to do my work, I have to perform, I have to kill it every single time. And right, I have to make sure that I'm bringing other sisters in the room with me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you believe, and just to piggyback off that, you said bringing other sisters along with you. Do you think that's, I mean, other cultures do it. The Jewish people do it. Asian people do it. They make sure at a minimum they hire a certain amount of people that are their own. Do you advocate for that?
Of course, right? Like I think that if you're hiring the best,
right,
that means you're hiring us, right? Like period, right? I mean, there's that. And so I think, right, if the bar and the expectation is that you're going to hire the best person for the role, right, that means that you have to be considering Black women as a part of that process. And if not, that's a problem, right? Because we know, right, we're the highest educated group of any group. We're the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs as Black women, all the things, right? So if we're not a part of that equation, the flaw, the bug in the system is not us, right? The bug is there in that space. Definitely I advocate for us, but I do it really boldly, right? Like I think for me, I do it unapologetically. I'm always asking the questions. I'm always looking at, you know, the interview slates to make sure that they're diverse. I'm always looking at, you know, the pool of people that we're looking at just to make sure that I'm seeing representation. And if I don't, I speak up and I use my voice.
And I think that's important, speaking up. I think it's easier to do it now because, again, I feel like it's cool to be pro-Black now. And I'm like, I've been pro-Black. I've been talking about Black people.
Been doing this.
And my Black girl magic. I'm like, y'all are so late to the party, but y'all here now, right? Y'all here. So, you know, welcome to the party. We already know we're popping. Right, exactly. With that being said, the next question submitted was, what is the hardest professional lesson you have had to learn so far?
So I think I used to be a perfectionist.
Okay.
And the hardest lesson was learning that failure is just a part of the process, right? I think that I always want to like kill it in every room I'm in. I want to be the best at what I do. And the hardest lesson for me was failure, and just like accepting and embracing, like, if you're not failing, you're not going hard enough. If you're not failing, you're not working hard enough. If you're not failing, you're not taking enough risks. And so I think accepting that failure was a part of the process, except when I'm, not getting it right, learning from it, and then just like promising to myself that I'm never going to do it again. And so that was hard. I just think we as Black women, like, we're trained up to be perfection, right? We're trained up to like work harder, work smarter, work faster. And then it's hard. I know it's hard for me when I make a mistake, but I'm starting, this is still a journey for me too. Like, I'm starting to learn that, like, that's gotta be a part of your process if you want to be great. If you want to be, like, if you want to make your mark, you're going to have to make some mistakes to do that.
And it's funny that you say that, and I won't go into it on this call, but the hardest lessons I've had to learn as just, an attorney, a business professional, whatever the case may be, cost me the most. When I say cost, I'm talking about money.
Yeah.
And so my sister and even my mom laughed and said, why do your lessons have to be so expensive? And I said, you know what? I think it's because God doesn't want me to repeat the mistake. Like, I'm a lawyer, but right now I'm paying another lawyer almost $1,000 an hour to represent me in a business dispute. And every time I see that money go out of my account, I say, you know what? Never again. Never again. It's a lot of money going out of my account, but you know what? It's hitting me in my pocket. So I'm going to remember this lesson. So yes, I think embracing, as long as you learn from it, it's okay. Because you're going to make mistakes. A lot of my mistakes come out of just being an open-hearted person, trying to help probably the wrong people, seeing red flags. You see real red flags in business relationships, friendships, and things, and you still keep going because you're like, oh, I'm going to give this person a bit of a doubt. Nope. My sister always says, red means stop. Red does not mean go. It means stop. So you see a red flag. If you decide to keep going through, and this is for some professional and personal advice, if you see a red flag and you keep going, just know that you had the stop sign and you kept going. So definitely learning from that and making sure you learn from those lessons, I think are definitely important. The next question you had was, what is the best way company leadership can improve diversity relations to create a more inclusive work environment for minority employees?
I mean, every company, if you look at their leadership bench, right, if you're not seeing people that look like us, that's the place to start. And I think that's at the board level, it's at the executive level. If you're not seeing at the top people that look like us, that tells you, right, that they've got some work to do. So that's the start. But the other thing is just making sure that, the folks in those companies are hiring Black folks, procuring Black-owned businesses as suppliers, and then also just, I would say, really thinking about, are we getting promoted once we get into those spaces? And so, for me, it's looking at all those things, but then also thinking about on our side as consumers, where we're spending our money, right? So if we're seeing that companies aren't like hiring people that look like us, doing the right thing, being bold right now, in the movement of Black Lives Matter, then we can decide, right, where we want to spend our money. And so for me, that's where my energy is, right? Like really thinking about how I'm spending my money. I'm a shopaholic. Like that's my problem. Like I shop crazy in quarantine, especially. I've just been online shopping, going crazy, Balenciaga, whatever. And I think I'm starting now to get savvier and smarter with where I'm spending my dollars too, because I think there's power in that.
And it's funny that you say that because a lot of the industry, there was like Blackout Tuesday with the music industry, but then there was just like a general blackout a couple of weeks ago in this month, because there was one in June with the music industry, but then there was one in July where we were like, all right, today you have to support Black business. Don't buy anything because I Black business, don't buy it. And I thought that was really powerful. And I was like, I got 3 websites y'all can visit. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to support a Black business, like you can support a Black lawyer. Get your trademark done by a Black lawyer. If you're looking for a course on business, go to my legallyfab.com. That website been up there for 2 years. Go to the website, not just support me, but support yourself, empower yourself. And that's why I love that you're like I said, I I don't have any children. I don't have a husband. So I don't know how you're doing all this and entertaining them. And it's funny because it was one picture I think you put on Instagram, and it looked like you were kind of ignoring him. But I was like, she's busy. Leave her alone. She's with her people. She's with her people, so she'll get back to you later. But yeah.
And it's like the little things, right? Like I think sometimes we think we have to go so big in everything that we do. And the other day, because I'm just always like checking myself too. And the other day I was, not able to do some speaking engagements and some stuff that had money attached. And I had to just say no. And instead of saying no, I said, you know what, enough of that. I'm not going to leave this money on the table, because this is money that could go to someone else, right? And so I put out a post on Instagram, and I was just like, hey, if you're a Black-owned business, Black woman, public speaker, whatever it is that you do, drop your info in this form. And I got 500 people in 30 minutes that filled it out, that are just like looking for opportunity and access. And so I think there are little things like that. So now every time I can't do anything that I want to do, but it's schedule, money, whatever, I'm now going to drop them that link, right? So, but I can't do it, but check out this list of highly recommended Black women who can do this job. And so it's little things I think that we can do that don't take a lot of time, but can really pay it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward. Like you said, support our own, pay it forward. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Like you said, you weren't available, but you're just not going to leave the money on the table for it to go somewhere else. You drop that list. And, even doing this event this weekend, like I said, again, I think by default, because I went to law school, people just think I know a little bit of everything. I don't know everything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring on people that do know, someone that's a doctor, someone that's in leadership. Tomorrow, of course, we have, our good girlfriend, Erica, speaking on some things. Yes, Erica is tomorrow. We have like other people that they went down that path and they know. And I want to open it up so that, people can learn. Maybe you won't make their mistake. You'll hear one jewel, you'll hear them say something, and you won't make that mistake. And, 2 or 3 years from now, you can be like, oh, I attended this panel and I got this knowledge, or this knowledge was dropped and I did such and such. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think, knowing what you know is great, but if you don't know something, like you said, or giving other opportunities to other people, I think that's something we should continue to do, and just continue to just promote ourselves. Because like I said, this isn't like new. Like we've been kind of doing this, and we just have so much going on between COVID and Black Lives Matter. A portion of the proceeds of this event are going to both COVID relief at United Way and the Black Mama Bell Fund. I mentioned before, I do some criminal justice reform stuff. So again, even all of this George Floyd stuff, I was working on some things. So yeah, I just feel like just start where you are. Like you can donate. If you can hire. If you can refer, you can refer. And it takes you like 2 seconds to do all those things. So with that being said, just wanted to know, is there anything, you want to tell us about? Like, I think you recently did some partnerships. I think it's like Color Change or something of change with the Grammys. Like, is there anything you just want to tell us about, like, that you can talk about that you're working on, or that people should just pay attention to in the next couple of weeks?
All the things. So the Ween Academy is happening right now. That's my nonprofit for women in the entertainment industry. Every day right now we have big name A-list speakers coming in and teaching our young women. And so definitely, if you're not a part of Ween, get down with it, weenonline.org. And if you're able to donate to it, definitely donate to Ween. So that's one. Second is for sure with the Grammys. I've been with the Recording Academy now for 3 months. And so we did this big partnership with Color Change. And so really excited about some new initiatives that we'll be rolling out very, very soon, starting next month. But they're our partner for the next year, and they're just amazing. And so we're doing the work that we need to do in our community. And then the last thing is I'm working on TV content. And so you're going to be seeing me come to your television screen soon. I'm really, really happy about it. And it's an extension of a lot of the work that I'm doing with our master classes. So you mentioned it, but every Friday night I do master classes for women who are in front of the camera and behind the scenes. They're dope. I'm having, like last night we had 700 women. And just every week it's just getting bigger, bolder, and better, just to get us, really in position as Black women to be bosses and to get what we deserve. And so what I have cooking.
Okay, well, like I said, she ran down the list, and I'm gonna shoot you an email about Wing because I would love if you need more entertainment lawyers to speak, teach classes, anything. You hook me up with whoever you need because I know you have probably different professions, kind of like how I did this panel. I would love to join as a mentor, so I'll definitely hit you up separately about that. And everybody, please join all her stuff. Follow her at Valeisha. It's a very easy name on all platforms. She's doing doing everything. Like I said, and then some. I don't know how she's doing it, but she's doing it, and we can't wait to see you come to our TV screen. Thank you so much, Valeisha. Thank you so much.